Well, I just saw 28 Days Later, The Bone Temple. The Bone Temple. Okay. A f- Not even a year has passed since 28 years later was released in theaters. I saw it, I reviewed it right here on Horror and Coffee. Apparently, they came up with a sequel really quick. I think they filmed everything together and just kind of split it up into two parts. That's the sense I got from this because it's so quick. What's that about? Well, it jumps right where 28 years later. I keep saying 28 days because that's the original movie, and I can't. This movie takes right off where 28 years later finished. Okay, we had the boy Spike go back to the mainland, and he comes across that group of crazy kids with the blonde hair, headed by Jimmy, who was the little boy in the beginning of the movie that was showing how he was in the beginning of the pandemic, which was depicted in the first movie, 28 Days Later. Apparently, this guy has lost his marbles. He's nuts. He's thinks he is a conduit to the devil, and his people follow him. It's like a little Marilyn Manson like cult, basically, and they go around and they kill people and they torture and maim, and unfortunately, Spike has been taken by them. He's forced to do bad things, and he's not in a good place. Meanwhile, that cool doctor they came across that lived in the bone with all the bones and everything, he's still there, and he's still working on a medicine, and which he believes may be a potential cure to the rage virus. That's the name of the virus, the rage virus. It's not a zombie thing. It's a form of rabies. If you remember the original film, how it started with the chimpanzees and the lab. It went worldwide, and people are just trying to survive. He's still working on it. And he comes across certain methods in trying to experiment, and there's this real big, robust, muscular infected that he try that he calls Samson, and he tries to kind of work with to kind of see if these certain cocktails of medication have any effect and have any change on him. I have to say, I found it to be a very intuitive film because, you see him really working on what can potentially be a cure to this thing after 28 years of this going on. He has to come to terms with his setbacks in it and his continual, memories of what life used to be like. He has a little record player in his little abode where he plays Duran Duran albums and songs. So you hear a lot of Duran Duran in this movie, which I thought was pretty cool. But then it comes down to the wire, right? And he has to kind of like do something for Jimmy, who is, that Marilyn Manson like cult leader. The doctor is an atheist. This guy is a Satanist in essence, even if he wouldn't call himself that. And he's telling him to put on a show in front of the others because he told them that, this must be that he was the devil. He needs to kind of like prove it to them. Little did the doctor know that poor Spike is not part of that group. And once Doc finds out, he has some decisions to make because he remembers Spike from the previous film, and he liked the kid, and he always wanted to help him, and he knows he's in a precarious situation, so he tries to work that out. Now, do you see many infected and running around? That you do a little bit, and you even get a glimpse of the big guy, Samson, of his past, of how it started for him 28 years ago when he was a kid. It involved him being on a train with his family when the infection started spreading and it became chaotic. So I'd like to see a movie with Samson and his story, to be honest with you, because you kind of start feeling bad for him. Now, first of all, Samson's strong. I'm talking about biblically strong. Like he catches this guy in his infected state, and what he does to him made me go, "Oh my God, what the hell?" So yeah, so it had the same feel. This movie had the same feel as the previous one. It had the same essence, and it's really a good, decent addition to the franchise of the 28 years later, 28 days later, 28 months later, 28 donuts later. You just put 28 in front of anything, and then you just add it to the franchise, and it'll work. I'm gonna give 28 years later, The Bone Temple, 3 coffee cups. It was very good. I liked it. I would see it again on stream and whatever. I'm gonna watch the one that came out last year again, because I needed to refresh my memory on a few things. But it was amazing. I like the cinematography. The Bone Temple is very artistically well made, and the doctor's theme of Memento Mori, the Latin for remember the dead. And so that's what he built that Bone Temple for. It's a memorial for those that we had lost in this terrible pandemic, in this end of the world scenario. I really liked it. Go check it out while it's still in theaters. Come back and talk to me. Let me know what you think of 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I thought it was very finely, craftily made, and it flowed well from the first movie. You get a lot, you learn more about Jimmy and his sick, twisted self, and how he was able to lead this small ragtag group of followers to believe everything he said. It was literally a little Marilyn Manson-like cult. And I was bugging out at that. I was like, I can't believe these people are crazy enough to follow him and crazy enough to do the things they did. You'll see it. So please, it's definitely not for the squeamish. A lot of gory stuff happens in this film. But, if you can handle that and, you think that's cool, which I did because it feeds the narrative, check it out. Okay? So until the next 2026 horror movie, we're going to review it here on Horror and Coffee. This is Ralph Perez. Until next time, take care, and please consider subscribing. Tap on that bell for future notifications for future Horror and Coffee content. Take care of yourselves, guys.